These court documents show that Mohammed Saeed had a violent past, arrested and accused of throwing his wife to the ground because he didn't like her driving, beating his wife and son with a metal spoon, and punching and kicking his daughter's boyfriend because he didn't want him to have a relationship with her.
Domestic violence problems are often precursors of much more serious things going on inside the person.
But not once was Saeed actually convicted.
If he had been convicted, in other words, gotten a suspended sentence or a jail sentence, he would not have been able to legally purchase a firearm under state and federal law.
Nearly 2 years after his last arrest, Saeed walked into this gun shop and purchased a gun like this one. He also purchased a semi-automatic rifle like this just last month. Court records show both weapons were used in the deaths of Aftab Hussein and Muhammad Afzal Hussein.
And the fact that he had guns registered in his own name would suggest he's either a permanent resident or a citizen.
Court records show that Saeed was born in Afghanistan. Saeed's family and friends tell Target 7 he was a refugee who came to the United States 6 years ago.
He comes from a traumatized background and a country where there's been a lot of upsetting events that must have taken place.
They say he was a U.S. citizen. He also told police he was a member of the Afghanistan Special Forces and fought against the Taliban.
He might be telling the truth that he was so heavily involved in fighting against the Taliban that the U.S. decided his life was in danger and they gave him the visa to come here.
John Lott is an immigration attorney who has represented several Muslims trying to live in the country. He said for Saeed to become a citizen, it would have taken several years, and a domestic violence conviction could have stopped that process.
Domestic relations crimes are deportable offenses in U.S. immigration law. If he had been convicted of the crimes, they would have put him in removal proceedings.
So why were these 3 cases thrown out?
The short of it is the lack of victim cooperation. We contacted all 3 victims in the individual cases, and none of them were willing to cooperate or assist in prosecution in any way.
Assistant District Attorney Greer Staley says about half of the time witnesses don't cooperate in domestic violence cases.
So yes, we always want to move forward, and we do so when we can, but unfortunately this is sort of the reality of those tough cases.
For Target 7, I'm John Cardinelli.